Hi everybody, we are going to get started with October Club Q. This kit is called Pumpkin Gnome and it's a pretty simple kit to put together, but it's a fun one and it holds lots of pictures. The Powder Puff chalking inks that we suggest are Mango Mai Tai, Tree Trunk, and Amaretto. But as you can see, any of the browns or oranges, some reds. I think I also used maybe barn board on the last one that I put together like this. So there's lots of options. This actually features one of our new paper lines, and that's called Cherry Wood. That just got put up on the website not too long ago. So if you like this paper line, you can get the entire line in a pack online at shopquickquotes.com. And we are going to go ahead and get started. The thing I love about this is that there's not many cutting diagrams or trimming that you have to do. We did most of this into die cuts so that you don't have to do a lot of cutting. One thing that I want to show you, if you have already punched out your die cuts, I just want to show you here, this frame comes out of the center of this. This frame we are actually going to use as a background. So if you've already thrown that away, grab it out of the garbage, because this is going to be your actual background. And if you've done our kits before, you know that we save a lot of the scraps like that to use them so that we're not wasting paper. Okay, so I'm going to get this out of the way and I'll get some background papers out. And really, I think the only cutting that we really have to do is this 2 by 11.5 piece of paper. And we're just going to cut it down the middle at 1 inch. And then we cut the ribbons in half. But other than that, there's not a lot of trimming. I'm going to bring my cutter in here. I'm just going to cut this at 1 inch right down the middle. And if you are using a cutter like mine, for skinnier cuts like this, when you just have a small piece of paper, I make sure that it's pushed all the way to the top, and then I cut from the bottom. So as you're cutting, it is pushing against this bar right here so it stays straight for you. Okay, so you should have two 1 inch by 11.5. And then everything else is like these photo backers that are punched out of the frames. If you haven't done that yet, go ahead. And you can also, if you want to chop them up beforehand, you can. Or if you want to do it as you go, you can. I'm going to get our background papers out here. So like I said, one will be this frame, this white frame here, and one is an actual 12 by 12 white paper. Make sure that I got this all in. Okay, that's pretty close. Because we're going to work on both of these kind of at the same time. So, I grab my ATG gun here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, you want to put adhesive very close to the center, not on the outside because this outside part is going to show. You don't necessarily have to go all the way around. I just put some at the top, middle, and side. Just make sure you stay close to the square in the middle. And then you have this wood grain paper, and it gets placed right in the middle with about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Okay. And same for this side. Just going to put a few on here. I don't use a ton of adhesive. I know different people have different opinions on that, but I don't use a ton. I don't waste a lot of adhesive on there. Because once it gets in my page protector, it lays flat. So center that as much as you can. And then we are going to get started on layering on this page. So those 1-inch strips you had cut out of the white, you have a 11.5, I think it's by 6, blue dot paper. It's plaid on one side, blue dot on the other. This is where your white trim is going to go there. And you can make it as big or as small as you want. I only, in the picture, only have about 1/4 of an inch showing. So that's totally up to you. I'm going to put adhesive down this edge on both edges. And then I'm going to add the white strip. And the easiest way for me is to lay your strip out, and then however much you want showing, I'm going to go just a little over 1/4 of an inch there. Oops. This is why I use the HEG gun. It's so easy to pull back up. I need to stick that all the way down. Okay. And same on this side. About 1/4 of an inch. Oops, I got that a little off. Let's try it this way. And if it's not exactly the same as the one on the bottom, it's okay. It's not gonna make much of a difference. And this whole piece can get glued about 1 inch down from the top of your page. And you can decide which side you want up. If you like that lighter color at the top, totally up to you. I think I am going to put that lighter color at the top. Okay, go ahead and glue this down about 1 inch from the top. And we are going to get the frame on the other side, get that layered, get some of the big pieces out of the way here. So you have a peach colored square frame, a red dot, and a white. And these will get layered. Oops, I got this turned sideways here, sorry. Actually, I'll pull this over here where it actually goes. The orange starts about 1/4 of an inch from the colored background paper. I'm going to put a little adhesive. Remember to stay close to that inside square, because the outside is going to show just a little bit and you don't want things sticking to it. So you center this piece. And this one, when you put adhesive on, you want to put it in the middle, because a little white on the left and a little white on the right are going to show. And if you don't want to put it right in the middle like that, you can always put it on the back side of your dot paper. I'm just going to go ahead and add it here. Oops. And then your dot paper right on top of it. So you don't want to glue the orange one down yet because you want to be able to put your photos in there. So what I would suggest doing is to just barely tack down, maybe put a couple across here, and barely tack this down where you want it so that you can peel it right back up and put photos behind there. Unless you have your photos ready to go, you go ahead and pause the video, get your photos in. Okay, you have a blue dot strip that kind of pulls this blue back into it, and I will add that to the right side here. Just a little bit of adhesive behind there as well. And this is just a little decorative strip just to kind of pull those colors back in. Okay, so we have the base of our base of both pages here. And we are going to start layering things on. If you want to chalk anything up, you go right ahead. I'm actually going to use, I think I have Mango Mai Tai here. So I'm going to, if you haven't used the chalking inks before, mine is really old and probably a couple years old, so yours probably looks way better than mine does. But I take it and I just do a little more on the edges and then slide it down the edge. I say the messier the better. And since mine is old, it even has a more chalky look. So if yours is brand new, you may not want to put quite as much on because it'll be nice and inky. But go ahead and chalk these up. If you need to hit pause and get them chalked up. Another color that would be really nice with this, if you like the blues or even greens, the navy would look really nice. When you put it on this yellow, it actually turns a little bit green, so that adds a little different color to it. And you can add some to these orange backgrounds. It doesn't show up a whole, or these red backgrounds. It doesn't show up a whole lot, but it does give it a little extra color. And when you go to add these, there's no particular way to put them. You can kind of look at the picture and see that. Sorry, my cat's getting into something. Doing these videos at home, sometimes there's boys that come in, my 3 boys, sometimes they're friends, sometimes they're animals. So I'll apologize in advance for any extras you hear in our video. Okay, so when you add these, you can kind of go by just by looking here, but you just add them however it works for your photos. I'm just going to kind of tack them down right now, and then you can move them around as you go. And I use the largest one, and then there's 2 that are same size. I use that one next, and then a bigger one, and then that one. I think this extra small one that came out of here, I think that one we actually don't use. You could turn it into a little tag. That would be cute. And tack these down. And then you just go back over the top. See, and it kind of depends on what pictures you have in here, because you don't want to totally overlap something that might be a great photo. So you do what works for you. I just kind of like the crooked, messy look of that one. Okay, so your gnome, what I did for chalking is I just took some colors and I just barely did the tops. The top of his hat, the tops of the flowers. I have a yellow here that I'm going to use to add to the flower. This one's called Sunny Days. I actually have some greens here. I'm gonna do just a little bit on the side. Let's see, I'll turn it this way so you can see. Just a little bit on the outside of these leaves. And you don't have to, I didn't do this on the original. I just happen to have a green laying here. And it's just one more color you can add. I think this was coral from a long, long time ago. Oh, it's almost ran out. I have kind of a coral color. So this is a place where you can add lots of different colors there. I'm gonna put the top of his hat orange, I think. I just really love this Mango Mai Tai color. And if you want to just leave it white, that works too. Actually, I'm going to go back over this one with a little bit of yellow. Kind of fun. Okay, so the only tricky part of this kit is figuring out which pumpkin piece goes where. So you have two orange ones. The smaller one goes behind this pumpkin. The larger one goes behind this pumpkin. I'll put that on in a minute. And what I did was I took my orange, whichever orange color you're using, and I did around the edges almost to the center of this. I just didn't do the entire thing. And let's see how this fits on here. And what I'm gonna do, this is our Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. Love this for these kind of die cuts. All I do is I flipped over my die cut and just put a couple of dots here and there. And that is enough to hold your pumpkin on. Okay? And since I have my orange one out here, I'm going to go ahead and do this one too. You could also use like amaretto or maybe a brown with this and do their pumpkins, and that makes it look a little more antique. It's kind of a fun look too. I'd show you, I don't have any browns here right now. Okay. And I believe, so you have 3 dot pumpkins. I believe the one with the stem is actually the one that goes right behind here. And again, you can chalk these up if you want. Flip this back over. And you can add some. Great thing about this glue too is it dries clear, so if it comes out a little on the side, I don't even worry about it because you can't see it later. And if you want to chalk up any of this, I'm going to put some green on the leaves. And I'm trying to find my other color here. A little yellow maybe. And these ones also look fine just white, because they're not filled in, so it doesn't add too much color, but just a little. And when you put this on, if you don't have your photos in there yet, just remember to not glue down every piece of this, because you're going to want to flip this up and put photos underneath. Okay? Get these last two pumpkins on. And we'll be set. Actually, that side would be kind of cute also with the stripe. Flip that back over. And then what I'm gonna, well, actually, don't leave it this way. What I'm gonna do is just do a few dots here and there on this one as well. And we'll flip it back over. If you do not have your photos in yet, you don't want to put any glue up here by his hat, because that covers up a little bit of your photo. And then we just put this along the bottom. And the only other thing to add here is your embellishments. We try to keep them nice and neat in a little packet like this. Just a little glue, a couple dots of glue on the backs, and they go right in the middle of the flowers. The last little piece that I want to show you. Oh, and just an FYI, these are all extra pieces out of your white frame. These would be super cute if you cut them into tags and used on a new page. Let me just show you real quick. I can find some scissors. Let me show you real quick. I save these pieces because I just make tags out of them. I put the corners together like this. I don't crease it completely, and then just trim the side, and it makes a nice little perfect tag. Chalk these up. You could even find a spot to use them on this page if you wanted. But these are great extra pieces to use for a whole nother page. Okay, the last piece is this. So you want to be able to flip this up, because this we are actually going to put right underneath here. And it's much bigger than what is in there. So what we're gonna do is actually, I mean, you can trim out this whole thing, but you're not gonna see this bottom part, so I'm just going to cut it in between. I cut off 2 lines just above that, and there will be plenty to tuck up under there. Okay, the rickrack that you have, just fold it in half. and one goes across the bottom, one goes across the top, and then that gives you a cute little journaling space. And then you just put a little adhesive on that and you tuck it up under. I'm gonna make sure this isn't gonna show out the other side. Yeah, that should be perfect. So across the top, across the bottom, and put a little thing. Oh, on material, this takes a little bit longer to dry. It dries really fast on, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. The Barely Art glue, it dries really fast on paper. On material, it takes a little bit longer. And you can trim this all the way down if you want to. Don't necessarily have to because it gets hidden. Move this for a second. Tuck this up underneath here. And you have a little journaling space. Okay, so you are done with the Gnome and Pumpkins page. We hope you enjoyed that this month. I love these fall colors. And we appreciate you being a Club Q member, and we will see you next time.